During the mid-1970s, the electronic music scene was thriving in Germany and picking up steam in places like Italy and France. But things were a bit quieter in the UK until an album arrived by a combo named Wavemaker. The album Where Are We Captain in 1975, and from that album, the track Syren Song. Hear all those wheezy, fizzy, troubly sounds, foaming. Can you even keep track of how many layers are going on at the same time? Let's see if. Try and take it apart. We got that synth bass. Boom, 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 boom. No. Boom, boom, boom. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. Do, 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 do. We've also got that percussive element. The name Wavemaker is perfect for this combo because it really is just like a bunch of sonic waves just splashing and like really thick, and it's like being submerged like several inches deep in it all. And it's not just wavy, it's bubbly, it's fizzy. What is creating that percussive sound? According to the credits, they have some real like organic drums and percussion on the album. I have no idea what maker model of keyboards they're using here. I imagine there's quite a large set of them, but all they say is synthesizer and keyboards in the credits. This album is recorded at their own studio called Electrophone. On the edge of London's Convent Garden is their studio, a unique combination of custom designed synthesizer modules. Yeah, and here's more of the sleeve notes. Where Are We Captain explores the synthesizer as a sophisticated instrument in its own right, not as a substitute for conventional instruments. And well, let's see, one of the guys, Brian Hodgson, 10 years at the BBC Radiophonic Workshop, a pioneer of synthesizer techniques. Yeah, there have been some recordings released from the BBC Radiophonic Workshop, like library recordings made from this time period. Yeah, I love that synth bass. It almost makes me want to just play air bass rather than. What I like about this track also is that it has a very strong melodic sense. There's definitely a thematic element that's been coursing through this whole piece, but it's also very loose and free flowing, and there are just so many different sounds just complementing that theme and layering onto it. And the percussive element has kind of a cymbally, kind of a misty sustain to it all that blends in with the waviness, the tonal waviness of it all. Wavemaker was Syren's song from the album Where Are We Captain? And the title is quite fitting. It's almost kind of like getting submerged in a very active body of water. Let's hear another track from the album, Lodestar, another one that conjures up some very colorful imagery. This is like really characterized by that that element. It's amazing how many sounds you can get from a synthesizer. It's like that's why Gary Newman called it the most human instrument known to man, because every sound that you can get is something that the player can manipulate and create and cause it. Whereas a guitar, you can only get so many sounds. Like a guitar just played by itself is always going to sound the same, and you can put pedals, but there's a finite amount of pedals that are available on the market to manipulate the sound in any way, or at least customize the sound. And that was an answer to the accusation that synthesizers are inorganic. So I mean, does Wavemaker sound anything like Tangerine Dream, anything like Jean-Michel Jarre or Xanov or Kraftwerk or any of the others? I mean, no. This is it's in a class by itself. A lot of melodies passing through this. It's like, but you have to like really pay attention for them, because there are so many sounds that are just like covering over everything. Like. A lot of definite key changes in this one, like tonic shifts and everything, and even some odd like meters thrown in. This is basically kind of like a synthesized rendering of a piece that could easily have been played and rearranged by a jazz rock act of the time period, or even by a band like, say, Trace or Exception, or heck, Triumvirate or ELP. Or Keith Emerson, anyway. I could imagine any of those like keyboard, like organ acts of the time period tackling this, making it more. They would emphasize more the filigree, the passages, the fugue like elements to it and everything. What I'm really saying there is that this, for an electronic act, they're not really just relying on tonal colors and layers and waves of sound. There's actually quite a lot of like melody, quite a lot of rhythmic component going on, and obvious, definite key shifts and centers. Lodestar by Wavemaker from the 1975 album Where Are We Captain? Wavemaker, the duo of John Lewis, Bachelor of Music composer, studied advanced composition with Hans Werner Henze in Rome, and Brian Hodgson from the BBC Radiophonic Workshop, with some percussive help by Jon Keliehor and Anthony McVey. Yeah, released in 1975 on Polydor, their first of two albums. And yeah, for some more description of the tracks that we just heard, let's see. Fuzzy analog oscillates around a Moogish theme atop simulated sheet metal at the dawn of Lodestar, which swiftly builds into a percussive electro jam of dueling process sounds in B major. And electro bass forwards the shifting syncopated meters of Syren song, where a flowing arpish theme emerges dominant among a spiraling mass of cymbal-misted analog filigree. Yeah, they would release one more album, New Atlantis, in 1977. And yeah, bringing the electronic sound off the westward from the continent onto the UK, where there weren't a whole lot of bands in the UK purveying. Tim Blake, erstwhile Gong member, cut a few electronic albums like in the late 70s, and a band called Zorch were active in the UK. Recorded some material around the same time as Wavemaker that ultimately wasn't released for another 25 years. And but meanwhile, over on continental Europe, the scene got more and more thriving. With 1976, of course, being a high water mark for electronic music, with like Electricus in Italy, Zanov and Jean-Michel Jarre in France, Richard Pinnos of Helden also cutting some solo stuff starting the following year. And in Germany, things just really thriving with Tangerine Dream and Edgar Froese putting out solo stuff around that time period. That in 1976 was also the year that the scene, the electronic music subculture, was portrayed in cinema, albeit ominously, in the thriller, the crime kind of thriller Lipstick, with a soundtrack by Michael, what's his name? Androgynous guy. Yeah. Yeah, Michael, the guy that looks like Ian Hunter. Michael Polnareff. Yeah, did the soundtrack for Lipstick. And yeah, the film that was like a vehicle for one of the Hemingway daughters, Margot Hemingway, and then, or Mariel, was a vehicle for the older one who was a model, but ended up, she was upstaged in the film by her younger sister, who ended up going on to some more highbrow roles, while the older model sister floundered as an actress and unfortunately met an early demise, I think due to drugs. Yeah. Anyway, for more Rubies and Sapphires from the two Wavemaker albums, see the directory of albums by English W artists linked in the description below. Like and subscribe, and follow me on social media, and leave a comment if there are any observations you have about the two tracks we just heard, namely, if you can identify some of the makes and models of the synthesizers and keyboards that we heard, and if you could maybe identify some of the pedals that were used, some of the sound effects processing that may have been employed. And until next time, this is Zaragon, the world's most ear-traveled trimaximalist, signing off.